Have you ever looked at your phone or tablet and, thought, man, this thing can do like practically anything. Why am I just scrolling through social media?
Yeah, totally.
Well, our listeners had the same thought, and they sent us down a real rabbit hole this time.
A deep one?
App Store descriptions, the developer's website, even YouTube videos, all because they were curious about one thing.
Turning their phone into a real musical instrument, right?
Exactly. And we've dug through it all so you don't have to.
That's right. We're taking a deep dive into ORG24,
Or G24.
an app that's available on both Android and iOS.
Okay, so what is this thing?
Basically, it's like a full-blown musical keyboard on your phone or tablet, but with like thousands of instruments and rhythms built in.
Wow, so you're telling me I could like walk around with an entire recording studio in my pocket?
That's the idea.
That's pretty wild. Okay, so let's talk about this sound library. You mentioned thousands of instruments, is that right?
Yeah, it's a pretty mind-blowing number when you think about it.
That's a lot. And these aren't just like basic synth sounds, are they?
No, they're actually multi-sampled, which means they're recorded from real instruments.
Oh, wow. So you should have like a grand piano sound, an acoustic guitar, violin, even things like a sitar or saxophone.
Exactly, and the multi-sampling part is important because it gives you a much more realistic and expressive sound.
How so?
Well, instead of just stretching one recording to make different notes, they use actual recordings of the instrument played at different pitches and volumes.
I see. So it's like having the actual instrument right there in your hands.
Pretty much.
That's really cool. And then on top of all the instruments, there are also thousands of rhythms.
You got rhythms for pretty much any genre you can think of.
Oh, yeah. Like what kind of stuff?
Well, the basics, of course, like pop, jazz, rock, but it goes way beyond that into Arabic, Turkish, Hindi, Persian styles.
Wow. A real global collection.
Absolutely. And these aren't just like simple loops either.
Oh, so there's more to them.
Yeah, they have intros, variations, fills, breaks, endings, even pads that play real chords when you press multiple keys.
So it's like having a whole backing band in the app.
Exactly, and the real chord functionality lets you quickly experiment with different harmonic ideas.
That's amazing. And you mentioned different drum kits too, right?
Yeah, you get different kits designed for specific styles like general Arabic, Persian, even more.
So it's like they really went all out to give you the right sounds for any kind of music you want to make?
Yeah, they really put a lot of thought into it. And this kind of variety is super important if you want to explore different musical traditions.
Makes sense because even subtle differences in the drums can change the whole feel of a song, right?
Exactly, you get it.
Okay, so this all sounds great for someone who wants to have fun and mess around with music, but what about musicians who might want to use this app for more serious stuff?
Well, the app descriptions talk about a bunch of professional features too.
Like what?
Well, for starters, they mention DNC instruments and aftertouch.
Okay, I'm not familiar with those. What are they all about?
Well, imagine playing a real saxophone and pressing a key, then adding more pressure to make the note bend or change tone. That's kind of what aftertouch does in this app. It lets you control those subtle nuances, either with the touchscreen or with an external MIDI controller.
Wow, so you can really get expressive with it.
Yeah, and DNC instruments likely refer to a similar level of control over the instrument's sound.
So it's not just about hitting the right notes, but how you play them.
Precisely, that's what makes music feel real.
And how about responsiveness? Is there any lag when you're playing?
Well, they specifically mention using low latency methods for real-time play, which basically means they've worked hard to eliminate any noticeable delay.
That's good because lag can be a real killer when you're trying to play music.
Yeah, for musicians, even a tiny delay can be super frustrating.
Totally throws you off.
Exactly. And it seems like they understand how important that immediate response is.
That's good to hear. And for people who prefer playing on a real keyboard, it looks like you can connect an external MIDI keyboard using USB or Bluetooth.
You can. And we even saw a user review from someone who was specifically looking for an app to do just that control synth sounds with an external keyboard.
Makes sense. A lot of musicians would probably prefer that.
Yeah, it gives you more control over things like dynamics and articulation compared to just using the touch screen.
Yeah, and it seems like they've really thought of everything because you can even use your phone or tablet's microphone.
That's a cool feature, right? You could record vocals or acoustic instruments directly in the app.
So you could like lay down a guitar track, then add some keyboard parts over it.
Exactly, and this opens up a lot of creative possibilities for making music on the go.
I like it. And get that there are also programmable sound and loop buttons.
Like a mini sampler built right in.
So you could have sound effects or short musical phrases ready to go at the touch of a button.
Exactly, and you can load your own sounds into them too.
So it's super customizable.
Yeah, it adds a lot of flexibility.
Now, for those who want to go even deeper, it looks like they have these Windows tools on their website.
Oh yeah, you can create and import your own instruments and musical styles.
Wow, so the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Pretty much. And this is where the app goes beyond just using the preloaded sounds.
So you can make it completely your own.
Exactly. If you have a specific sound in mind, yeah, you can create it yourself.
That's incredible. And they also pitch in a joystick, a ribbon controller, effects filters.
It's like having a full-blown synthesizer in your pocket.
All those extra controls must give you a lot of power to shape the sound.
They do.
Maybe
It's pretty impressive for a mobile app.
And of course, you need a way to record all this amazing music.
You got a ORG-24, lets you re-record, even sing along, and it outputs high-quality stereo sound.
Cool, so you could capture your entire song idea right there on the app.
Yeah, and you can easily share your recordings as MP3 files.
So you send them to your friends or upload them online.
Yep, exactly.
And there's another feature here that caught my eye. It says it can simulate KORG keyboards.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty big deal for musicians who are familiar with KORG workstations.
What's so special about KORG keyboards?
Well, they're known for having a lot of professional features and a really intuitive workflow. And it seems like ORG-24 has tried to recreate that same experience in their app.
Oh, I see. So they've taken inspiration from one of the best in the business.
Yeah, it shows that they've put a lot of thought into making this app feel professional and familiar for serious musicians.
I'm impressed. And get this, it even supports multi-touch for up to 10 fingers.
Wow, that's a lot of fingers.
That's a lot of notes you could play at once, especially on a tablet with a larger screen.
Yeah, that's essential for playing complex chords and layered sounds.
Makes sense. And on top of all that, you can control the volume of individual instruments and styles. There's a pedal input, a metronome touch response settings.
Don't forget quarter tone tuning.
Oh yeah, for Arabic, Persian, Kurdish music, right?
Yep, and you can even choose between one or two keyboard rows on the screen.
Wow, seems like they've really thought of everything.
You really have. It's super versatile.
So based on everything we've seen, it sounds like those express like a pro and lag-free play claims are actually true.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they can back them up.
Now let's talk about customization beyond what comes with the app. How much can you actually change and expand ORG-24?
Well, as we mentioned before, they have a desktop app on their website, sophie.com.
Right.
And that lets you create, edit, and import your own sounds, instruments, and even rhythm patterns.
Oh, wow. So you're not limited to just the preloaded content.
Not at all. You can really make it your own.
And you can even change the way the app looks, right?
Yeah, they have a skin editor.
That's cool. I like that personal touch.
Yeah, it lets you customize the visual appearance to your liking.
And if you're not into creating your own sounds from scratch, it looks like they also have downloadable content.
Yep, new sound sets, instruments, rhythms, all that good stuff.
So you can always keep expanding your sound library.
Exactly. And the downloadable content is a great way to get new sounds and styles created by the developer or even shared by other users.
Speaking of other users, it sounds like they have a pretty active community.
They do a thriving community.
That's always good to see because you can get help, share tips, discover new sounds and styles.
Exactly. A strong community can really add to the value of an app like this.
And they've made it easy to connect with them, too.
Yep.
They have a website, www.sophie.com.
A support email, support@sophie.com.
A YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sophie Sunrise.
And a Facebook page, facebook.com/Sophie Sunrise.
Nice. So they're pretty accessible.
Yeah, it seems like they really care about their users.
Of course, we also wanted to see what real users had to say, so we checked out some reviews.
Always good to get a balanced perspective.
And we saw a lot of positive feedback. People were really impressed with the app, especially the ability to use external MIDI keyboards.
Right, that seemed to be a big selling point for a lot of people.
But there were also some reports of issues like key sticking or problems connecting MIDI keyboards.
Yeah, you're always going to have some issues with any software.
But here's what's interesting. The developer actually responded to one of the reviews about the key sticking issue and suggested a fix.
Oh, wow, that's great to see.
Yeah, it shows that they're paying attention and trying to help their users.
Definitely a good sign.
Okay, so let's talk about the business side of things. The app itself is free to download, but there are in-app purchases.
Right, that's pretty common for mobile apps these days.
It makes sense. So what kind of stuff can you buy?
Well, there's VIP access, which probably unlocks some extra features.
Okay.
Then there are options to use the microphone, connect external keyboards, download premium sound data, and even activate the desktop version.
So it seems like there's a purchase option for every level of user.
Exactly. Whether you're a casual user or a serious musician, they have something for you.
And finally, we should mention that the app is developed by Sophie Sunrise.
With the tagline, combining art and technology.
And the main person behind it is Kusha Torkzada.
It's always good to know who's behind the software you're using.
Yeah, and it looks like they've really put a lot of passion and expertise into this app.
It shows,
It's also worth noting that the app is available in multiple languages.
which makes sense given its global sound library and features.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to make music creation accessible to everyone around the world.
Definitely.
So to sum it all up, ORG-24 really does seem like an incredibly powerful and versatile music creation tool.
Especially for a mobile device.
You get a massive library of sounds, a deep set of features, all in something you can carry in your pocket.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
I know, right? It really makes you wonder about the future of music creation.
How so?
Well, with this kind of power now available on something as common as a smartphone or tablet, it seems like anyone can become a musician.
True. You don't need expensive equipment or a fancy studio anymore.
Exactly. So what does this mean for the future of music? How will it be created and experienced?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely exciting to think about.
It is. And what about the fact that such a diverse and global collection of instruments and sounds is now so easily accessible to anyone?
Yeah, that's a game changer for sure.
It opens up so many possibilities for creativity and collaboration.
Absolutely. People can now experiment with sounds and styles from all over the world.
And who knows what incredible new music might come from that?
It's an exciting time to be a musician.
It really is. And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought to ponder what other creative avenues might open up now that this kind of musical power is literally at our fingertips.
It's something to think about for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into ORG-24. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.